Welcome, traveller of time, to a quiet place where history breathes softly through the night. You've arrived at the threshold of another age, an era of castles and candlelight, of loyalty and legend, of heavy armour and gentle hearts. Tonight, you are not here to study history, but to feel it, to let it unfold around you like a dream, slow and peaceful, guiding you deeper into rest. Before we step into the past, take a moment to settle where you are. Let the modern world drift away, its lights dimming in your mind like stars fading before dawn. The hum of the present begins to soften, replaced by the calm rhythm of your own breathing. Feel the air entering your lungs, cool and slow, and leaving just as softly. With each exhale, let your body relax further. The weight of the day melts away, and your thoughts loosen like the drawstrings of a cloak. Tonight's story is a gentle one, a relaxing historical bedtime story, inspired by the world of medieval England, a time of knights and kingdoms, of honour and oaths, of simple lives bound by faith and duty. But this isn't a tale of battle or conflict. It's a journey through calm, through the quiet side of chivalry, where a knight's life unfolds not in the noise of war, but in the tender stillness of dawn. You're about to wake as a knight, wrapped in woolen sheets, inside a stone chamber where the morning light seeps slowly through narrow windows. The world you will enter is far from the rush of the modern age. It moves gently, like water trickling through moss, or wind brushing over the ramparts of an old keep. Here, even time itself seems to sleep. Take another slow breath in and out. Feel your heartbeat grow slower, your mind quieter. Imagine the faint sound of a medieval harp playing somewhere far away, its notes drifting through cold corridors. The air around you is cool and still, scented faintly with burning wood and melting wax. You can almost hear the creak of wood, the flap of a tapestry in the breeze, the distant call of a morning bird beyond the castle walls. Now imagine yourself there, not in body but in spirit. The walls around you are made of thick grey stone, each block hand-cut centuries ago. Torches line the passageways, their flames low and steady, casting a soft orange glow that flickers across the walls. Shadows move like whispers. The world is quiet, expectant. In this quiet castle, a new day is beginning. But before it does, there is stillness. That sacred stillness before the morning bell, when the world is neither awake nor asleep. The servants have not yet begun their work, and the horses in the stables shift softly, their hooves tapping lightly on the straw. You can smell the faint scent of hay and rain drifting in from outside. Somewhere, water drips rhythmically from the edge of the roof into a stone trough below. In that silence, your mind begins to drift. You sense yourself resting on a simple wooden bed covered in a woolen blanket. Beneath you, the mattress is filled with straw, rough but warm, holding the faint earthy smell of dried grass. The chamber around you feels small but safe. A single window slit lets in a sliver of dawn light, and a faint mist curls through the opening. You breathe in deeply, and with that breath, you travel deeper into the story. You are a knight, perhaps young, perhaps older, but weary in a peaceful way. The kind of weariness that comes not from sorrow, but from a long life of quiet purpose. Your armour, polished yet scarred, stands nearby. Your sword rests against the wall beside your boots. They are not symbols of violence, but of devotion, of loyalty, discipline, and silent strength. The faint sound of footsteps echoes beyond your chamber. A squire, perhaps, beginning his duties, fetching water from the well. His steps are slow, careful, respectful of the hour. The castle is not yet alive with noise. It stirs like a great beast just waking from slumber. You can feel its rhythm, the ancient heartbeat of the fortress, steady and slow, like your own pulse. Take another deep breath. The air in this place feels older somehow, untouched by smoke or engines, filled only with the natural scent of stone, iron, and rain. It's the air of another time, a simpler, slower one. With each breath, your body sinks deeper into calm, your muscles loosening, your mind quieting. The more you imagine, the more real it feels. The present fades, the past takes shape. The voice of a distant bell rings once, a soft, low note that rolls through the valley. It is not a call to battle, but to prayer, the dawn bell of the castle chapel. Its sound floats through the corridors, brushing against the walls like a sigh. You listen to it fade, and as it does, your thoughts drift again. You are no longer imagining this world. You are in it. The candle beside your bed burns low, the wax pooling at its base. Its light flickers gently across your armour, catching the edges of the metal and turning them gold for a moment. You can almost feel the warmth of it against your face. The world feels hushed, not silent, but calm. The kind of calm that allows you to notice every small thing. The way the air moves, the way your breath sounds, the way the shadows bend and stretch across the floor. Outside, the sky begins to brighten, a pale grey blue spreading above the horizon. The mist clings to the trees, softening their edges. The first birds begin to sing, their voices delicate and uncertain, like they too are waking from dreams. The world feels suspended in that perfect balance between night and morning. You close your eyes for a moment and listen. You hear the faint clinking of metal, someone preparing armour, perhaps your own squire tending to the plates, checking the straps, polishing the edges. The sound is rhythmic and soft, almost musical. Each gentle tap echoes faintly like rain against stone. It soothes rather than startles. You take another breath. The scent of burning wood from the great hall below rises faintly through the cracks in the floor. You can imagine the cook stirring from sleep, feeding embers to life, warming pots for the day's meals. The castle is waking, but it does so slowly, like an old friend who knows there is no need to rush. You run a hand along the edge of your blanket, feeling the coarse texture of the fabric. You stretch, your limbs heavy but rested. In this moment, you are both awake and dreaming, aware but far away from the noise of the modern world. The soundscape of history surrounds you, the low hum of life, the gentle rhythm of medieval dawn. Your story will soon begin. The day ahead will carry you through the rituals and rhythms of a night's world. But for now, you linger in this stillness. You allow the peace of this moment to fill you completely. Your breathing slows further. Each inhale feels lighter. Each exhale feels longer, softer. You let go of tension, of time, of thought. There is nothing you need to do, no place you must be. Only this moment, this stillness, this gentle unfolding of another life. Outside, the sun's first light touches the castle walls. Golden rays reach through the mist, landing softly on the armour waiting beside you. Dust motes dance in the air like tiny sparks. You open your eyes just enough to see it. The quiet shimmer of a new morning in medieval England. The story begins with that light, calm, ancient, eternal. You are there fully, and as you rise from the bed, wrapping your cloak around your shoulders, you take one last deep breath of peace. The day of a night has begun, and with it, your journey through time. The soft chime of a bell drifts through the mist, its echo rolling slowly over the high stone walls of the castle. The sound fades into stillness, leaving only the sigh of the wind. You open your eyes to the pale shimmer of dawn filtering through a narrow window slit, its light faint but golden against the rough grey stone. The air is cool, almost damp, and carries the scent of moss, wood smoke and distant rain. Somewhere beyond the courtyard, a single rooster crows, its call echoing softly against the awakening sky. You draw a slow breath. The air feels older here, thicker, heavier with memory. The silence of centuries lingers in every shadow, every stone that holds its place, just as it did in ages long past. You can almost hear the murmur of forgotten prayers and the crackle of torches that once lit these same halls. You are not in your world anymore. You are waking in another time, in medieval England, beneath the vaulted roof of a castle, keep that has seen generations rise and fade like dust in the sun. The world outside your chamber stirs with the earliest rhythm of morning. A faint clang of metal rings out in the distance, the blacksmith at his forge, already at work before the sun has fully risen. The muffled bleating of sheep drifts in from the lower fields, mingling with the soft hum of voices. Servants whispering, preparing for another day. Everything moves slowly, deliberately, as if even time itself still yawns from slumber. You rise and walk toward the window. The stone beneath your bare feet is cold and uneven, worn smooth by countless steps before yours. Through the narrow opening, you see the first light spill across the courtyard below. Dew glitters on the cobblestones, and the thatched roofs of the outbuildings shine faintly under the pale gold of morning. Wisps of smoke begin to rise from the kitchens, curling lazily into the sky. It's a peaceful sight, ancient, steady and calm. A world unhurried by the rush of clocks or engines. The castle stands proud, yet quiet, its towers crowned with banners that stir gently in the early breeze. Beyond the outer wall, fields stretch into mist, wide, endless, and touched with silver light. You are a knight here, though the weight of that role still feels like a dream. Before the day begins, there is only stillness, the scent of cool stone and hay, the faint glow of a new sun, the whisper of wind weaving through the arrow slits. For this fleeting moment, the world feels eternal, a place untouched by time, wrapped in silence, where every breath comes slow and deep. You close your eyes, listening to the castle awaken. A door creaks somewhere far below. A bucket tips, water splashing softly on stone. The sound of a bell returns, its tone low and even, calling all to prayer, to duty, to life. But for now, you linger here in the quiet glow of dawn, between dream and waking. Here, in this breath of early morning, the story of the night begins. As the first rays of sunlight climb higher, the castle slowly comes alive. The stillness that blanketed the early dawn begins to soften into motion. Gentle, deliberate, never hurried. From the corridor outside your chamber, you hear footsteps echoing softly, the shuffle of leather soles against stone. Servants move with quiet precision, carrying pails of water, baskets of bread, and bundles of linens. Their whispers float through the cool air, low and respectful, as though not to disturb the heavy silence of these ancient halls. You open your door and step into the corridor. The scent of baking bread mingles with that of oiled wood and candle wax. Tapestries hang from the walls, their colours faded but still rich with story. Battles fought, saints blessed, kings crowned beneath skies of gold. Every inch of the corridor feels worn by centuries of passing feet, yet preserved in an unbroken rhythm of life. Down below, in the great hall, morning preparations unfold. Long tables are being wiped clean and reset with wooden bowls and pewter cups. A fire crackles at the hearth, its embers glowing like tiny suns. The flickering light dances against the carved beams above, where iron chandeliers hang heavy with wax. Somewhere near the far end, the steward's voice rises, soft yet firm, giving quiet orders that ripple through the space like waves against a shore. You descend the spiral stairs, each step ringing gently with a hollow echo. The air grows warmer as you near the heart of the castle. The kitchens. There, a small army of cooks and scullery maids move gracefully through the morning ritual. Loaves of bread are set near the fire to brown. A pot of porridge steams gently on the hearthstone. A young boy turns a spit where salted meat roasts slowly, the scent filling the space with something earthy and comforting. Your squire, a boy not more than 17, spots you from across the room. He bows quickly and wipes his hands on a cloth before approaching with the eager brightness of youth. "My lord," he says quietly, "your armour is being polished in the armoury. The smith has mended the buckle from yesterday's training." His voice carries a mix of respect and excitement, the kind that only young men feel in the presence of a knight. You nod, his words echoing gently in the calm of morning. There is no rush. In the medieval world, life flows with the pace of the sun, slow, certain, eternal. You walk with your squire across the courtyard, passing stable boys brushing the manes of horses and young pages sweeping the cobblestones. The smell of hay, leather, and iron fills the air. A fountain trickles softly at the centre, its water catching the golden light. Everywhere, life hums quietly, the pulse of a living fortress. No shouting, no haste, only the slow order of a world built on rhythm and duty. The sound of hooves, the ring of a hammer, the flutter of a banner in the breeze. You breathe it all in, the texture of this world, its balance between labour and silence. And as you walk toward the armoury, the thought lingers. This is more than a castle. It is a living heart of an age long gone, still beating softly beneath the dawn. The armoury lies at the far edge of the courtyard, where stone meets shadow. As you and your squire approach, the faint rhythmic sound of hammer on anvil grows clearer, measured, unhurried, echoing softly against the walls. The smell of heated iron and oil lingers in the air, mingled with the earthy scent of straw and leather. Inside, the light is dim, filtered through narrow arrow slits that cast soft blades of gold across racks of gleaming metal. Helmets rest in rows, their visors lifted like faces waiting to awaken. Shields hang upon the walls, their paint faded by years of use, marked by scratches that whisper of old battles now half forgotten. A suit of armour stands upright upon its wooden frame near the centre, catching the morning light. Each curve of steel reflecting a different hue, from silver to bronze to a deep shadowed grey. Your squire moves with quiet purpose. He lays out each piece carefully upon a wooden bench, the breastplate, the vambraces, the greaves. His hands tremble only slightly as he brushes a final layer of oil across the polished surface. This is not a hurried act of dressing for war. It is a ritual, one that connects generations. The armour is more than protection. It is identity, tradition, and honour made visible in metal. You stand before it for a moment, breathing in the cool scent of steel. The air is calm, filled only with the soft clinking of buckles and the low hum of distant workmen in the stables. One by one, your squire begins the task of dressing you, a process so deliberate it feels almost sacred. The padded gambeson first, its linen soft but heavy against your shoulders. Then the chainmail, a cascade of interlocking rings that drape across your body like liquid metal. It settles with weight, yet comfort, a reminder of both strength and burden. Next comes the breastplate, fitted snugly to your chest, followed by the tassets that shield your thighs. The sound of each buckle fastening is steady and precise. Click, pull, pause. There's rhythm in the ritual, an almost meditative pace that matches the slow beat of your breath. The squire tightens each strap with practiced care, whispering small affirmations as he works, not out of duty, but reverence. At last he lowers the helmet over your head. The world grows quieter, distant. The sound of the courtyard becomes muffled, replaced by the steady rhythm of your own breathing within the steel enclosure. For a moment, you stand completely still, encased, transformed. You lift your visor and meet the squire's gaze. His eyes shine with pride, and for him, this small act, preparing a knight for the day, is as noble as swinging a sword. You nod gently, a silent acknowledgement of his part in this age-old dance of duty. The weight of the armour settles evenly across your body. It is heavy, yes, but familiar, like a second skin shaped by years of discipline. You take a slow breath, the air cool against your face, and step out into the open courtyard. The world greets you differently now. The same sun glints sharper against the metal. The same breeze feels softer through the narrow gaps of your armour. Each sound, the clatter of hooves, the creak of wood, the distant church bell, arrives as though from another realm. You walk forward slowly, feeling the earth beneath your boots, the pulse of life around you and the deep, grounded stillness of your own heartbeat beneath the armour. And somewhere beyond the castle walls, the world of medieval England awaits, vast, ancient, and ready to unfold. The great gate of the castle opens with a groan of ancient hinges. You ride slowly through it, the sound of your horse's hooves echoing softly against the cobbled ground. Beyond the walls, the air feels different, fresher, touched with the earthy scent of damp grass and distant wood smoke. The world outside the fortress is quieter, yet full of quiet motion, a different kind of life, simpler, slower, more human. The morning light spreads over the valley like pale gold spilling across silk. Mist rises from the fields in delicate curls, blurring the lines between earth and sky. The village lies just below the hill, a cluster of thatched roofs and narrow lanes, smoke rising lazily from the chimneys. A rooster crows somewhere in the distance, its cry echoing faintly between the cottages. You guide your horse down the winding road, feeling the gentle sway of the saddle with each step. The sound of iron shoes against stone fades into the softer crunch of soil as the road turns to dirt. Along the way, a group of children pause in their play, wooden hoops and simple cloth dolls in hand, and look up in awe at your shining armour. Their eyes are wide, filled with both curiosity and reverence. You nod softly to them, and they bow, giggling shyly as you pass. The village awakens slowly, not with noise, but with rhythm. A woman steps out from her cottage door, carrying a pail of water balanced in each hand. The scent of freshly baked bread drifts through the cool air, mingling with the faint sweetness of hay. Farmers move across the fields, their shapes dark against the mist, leading oxen through furrows of damp soil. You can hear the slow creak of wooden carts, the soft murmur of voices exchanging morning greetings, and the occasional bark of a distant dog guarding his home. It is not a scene of grandeur or wealth, but of simple endurance, the heartbeat of a world that keeps moving no matter who wears the crown or commands the sword. Each villager, each sound, each movement adds to the living rhythm of the land. You dismount near the village square, where a small stone cross stands surrounded by wildflowers. The square is nothing more than a patch of earth lined with rough wooden benches and a well at its centre. Yet here life unfolds with quiet grace. A blacksmith hammers at a glowing piece of iron, the sparks flashing like fleeting stars before fading into the dust. The steady beat of his hammer echoes softly in the morning air, a sound both ancient and grounding. A baker sets out loaves upon a wooden table, the crusts warm and golden. The smell is comforting, nostalgic. You watch as villagers gather coins and exchange small smiles. To them, bread is not merely food. It is life itself, a daily miracle earned through labour, patience, and care. Nearby, an old man sits on a stool, mending a fishing net. His hands are worn but steady. As you approach, he looks up and gives a nod of recognition. He remembers your father, perhaps, or your grandfather. Names passed down like echoes in this small world of memory. His eyes are kind, and his smile carries no fear of your rank. Only familiarity. You exchange a few words, soft and polite, before moving on, leaving behind a sense of shared time, shared existence. You walk further down the lane. The sunlight grows warmer now, cutting through the mist in threads of gold. Bees hum near a patch of wildflowers, their wings catching the light like shards of glass. The world feels suspended in a gentle dream, untouched by the chaos of war or the weight of royal ambition. Here, life simply is. From the hilltop, the castle still stands visible, distant, silent, unmoving. Its grey towers rise above the green fields like watchful sentinels of an older order. Yet from here, among the people, it feels almost like another world entirely. The armour you wear gleams under the light, but for the moment, it does not divide you from those you protect. It simply reflects the morning sun, joining with the brightness of the day. You take a long, steady breath. The smell of earth, wood, and fire mixes into something deeply grounding. A scent that seems to stretch across centuries, unchanged. The air is cool against your face, and the sound of the nearby river calls faintly from beyond the trees. You can almost feel the rhythm of life pulsing through the landscape, the slow heartbeat of medieval England itself. For a few moments, everything stills. The horse stands quietly behind you, tail flicking lazily. The villagers move through their routines, unaware of how their ordinary lives are being witnessed with reverence. The morning unfolds, unhurried, like a gentle melody. And as you stand there, the world feels both ancient and new, vast, yet intimately close. A single day among countless others, yet filled with meaning. Soon the sun will rise higher, the armour will grow warm under its touch, duties will call, training, feasts, perhaps letters from the king. But for now this calm remains, this fleeting, sacred calm of morning in a world long past, where time itself seems to hold its breath. The day begins not with trumpets or clamour, but with the hush of movement within the stone walls. You wake to the muted rustle of servants carrying water jugs down the hall, their footsteps echoing faintly over the flagstones. The room is dim, lit only by the soft glow of morning light slipping through narrow windows cut deep into the walls. The scent of cool iron and faint beeswax lingers in the air, the quiet signature of a knight's chamber. Your armour stands waiting near the wooden chest, polished to a dull gleam. Outside, you can hear the distant rhythm of hooves, the low murmur of stable hands preparing horses for the morning's ride. The castle, so still in the night, now hums with life, steady, ordered, unhurried. You rise, feeling the chill of the stone beneath your bare feet. A squire enters softly, carrying a basin of water. His expression is careful, respectful, his movements practiced. He sets the basin down, steam curling upward in the cold air. As he retreats, the door closes behind him with a soft creak, and once again, the room holds only silence. You wash your face, the water cool and bracing. Outside, the sound of bells drifts upward. The first call of the day. It is neither harsh nor hurried, but measured, deliberate, the way life moves within these walls. The castle courtyard lies below, still draped in mist. You step out onto the balcony and breathe deeply. The world stretches before you in tones of grey and gold. Rolling hills in the distance, the faint glimmer of the river winding through them, and above it all, a sky so pale it seems painted in sleep. The air smells faintly of hay, smoke, and morning dew. Down below, squires and guards move in silent rhythm. The blacksmith's hammer begins its slow song against the anvil, not sharp or loud, but steady, like the beating of time itself. Sparks rise and vanish into the air, their glow momentary and beautiful. You descend the narrow staircase, hand brushing against the cool stone. The stairway spirals tightly, each step worn smooth by generations before you. When you emerge into the courtyard, the world feels larger, open, alive. A young page greets you with a bow and hands you a small loaf of bread, still warm from the ovens. You break it quietly, eating as you walk. The taste is simple. Coarse flour, a hint of salt, yet it carries the comfort of ritual. You move past the stables, where grooms are brushing the horses, their coats gleaming in the morning light. The sound of bridle buckles, soft knickers, and shifting hooves fills the air. You pause, laying a hand upon your horse's neck. The animal exhales softly, warm breath against the morning chill. Nearby, knights gather for training, their movements deliberate and slow, as though not yet fully awake. The clash of wooden swords rings faintly across the yard. It is not a battle, but a rhythm, a dance of strength and discipline. You watch for a while, the sight strangely calming. The slow arc of the sword, the muted thud of wood upon shield, the measured steps across the packed earth, all blend into a kind of meditation. The master-at-arms walks among them, his voice low and even. He corrects a stance, adjusts a grip, then nods in quiet approval. There is no shouting here, no urgency, only practice, repetition, patience. You join the circle, take a practice sword from the rack. Its weight feels familiar in your hands, not burdensome, but grounding. The wood is smooth where fingers have worn it, the handle warm from countless mornings like this. The spar begins. Each motion unfolds slowly, predictably, with the calm rhythm of breath. Step, lift, turn, strike. The repetition draws your mind inward, emptying it of thought. Around you, the sounds of life continue. The gentle murmur of voices, the distant splash of a bucket in the well, the faint rustle of wind through banners overhead. Time softens. The courtyard becomes a kind of waking dream, suspended between effort and stillness. When the training ends, you return your sword to its place and stretch your arms toward the sun, now rising higher. Its light spills over the battlements, gilding the stone walls and catching on the tips of spears lined neatly by the armory door. You pause to drink water from a clay jug, the coolness spreading through you like calm. The world feels balanced, alive yet tranquil. The duties of the day have only begun, but there is no rush. In this world, time moves like a tide, constant, slow, eternal. The castle hums quietly around you. Servants move between doorways carrying baskets of linen. A falconer crosses the yard, his bird perched calmly upon his arm. Somewhere, deep in the hall, A harp begins to play, its strings trembling softly like a lullaby of stone and light. You stand still, the sound washing over you. The day has only begun, and already it feels timeless. The courtyard begins to quiet as the morning fades. Training ends, and the knights move toward the great hall, their boots echoing softly along the corridor. You follow the sound, slow, rhythmic, like the steady beat of a distant drum. The corridor is long and shadowed, lit by torches that flicker along the walls. Their light dances across stone tapestries, revealing scenes of old battles and forgotten kings. The air smells faintly of wax and herbs, a reminder that even these great walls depend on humble things: tallow, fire, and patience. As you walk, the faint hum of voices grows louder. Laughter, the clatter of wooden platters, the soft melody of a lute. The sound seems to beckon you forward, carrying warmth through the chill corridors. When you step into the great hall, the space opens around you like a dream. Sunlight spills through tall windows, touching long wooden tables set with simple fare. Trenchers of bread, bowls of stew, flagons of water and ale. Above, banners hang in quiet splendor, their colors faded but proud. You take your seat among the others. The air is filled with the murmur of soft conversation, stories of the morning, small moments shared between companions. Yet even here, amid the gentle noise, there is a sense of calm order. No one shouts, no one rushes. The rhythm of the meal feels almost sacred. Steam rises from the bowls as servants move gracefully between tables, refilling cups and offering warm loaves. The bread breaks easily beneath your hands. You dip it into the thick stew, rich with lentils and herbs, and the warmth spreads through you. Outside, the wind shifts. Through the open door, you can see banners stirring slowly, their edges catching the light. The world feels alive, yet still, a delicate balance between sound and silence. At the head of the table, the lord of the castle speaks in a voice that carries without force. He offers quiet words, not of command, but of gratitude. Thanks for the harvest. Thanks for peace. The hall listens, not with applause, but with gentle stillness. You take another bite, your thoughts drifting. Around you, life continues in small, comforting motions. The scraping of a chair, the soft sigh of a tired squire, the muted creak of the wooden beams above. When the meal ends, the hall does not empty at once. Some linger near the fire, speaking softly. Others drift toward the doors, their cloaks brushing lightly across the floor. You rise, bow your head in respect, and step outside once more into the brightness of the day. The sun now hangs higher, soft gold upon the stone walls. The air smells faintly of hay, baked bread, and distant pine. From somewhere beyond the walls comes the faint call of a shepherd's horn, a long, low note carried by the wind. You walk slowly toward the outer bailey, past the armoury and the chapel. Bells sound faintly from the tower, marking the turning of the hour. Each toll feels slower than the last, as though time itself is beginning to stretch. A group of children chase one another across the grass near the kitchens, their laughter rising and fading like birdsong. You pause to watch, smiling faintly. Even in a world of armour and oaths, there is gentleness here. The simple rhythm of daily life, steady and unbroken. You move toward the chapel door, drawn by the faint sound of chanting from within. The air grows cooler as you enter, carrying the scent of old stone and candle smoke. Inside, light filters through stained glass in shades of deep blue and amber, painting quiet patterns upon the floor. A monk kneels near the altar, his voice low and calm. The chant is slow, rhythmic, less a song than a breath turned into sound. You sit quietly listening. Each note feels like a ripple spreading through still water, softening everything it touches. For a moment, the noise of the outside world fades away. There is only the flicker of candlelight, the echo of prayer, and the stillness of your own heartbeat. You close your eyes. The sound of the chant becomes softer, slower, a thread of peace winding gently through the air. When you step outside again, the world feels hushed. The sun rests low behind drifting clouds, and the day seems to hold its breath. You walk along the castle wall, feeling the rough stone beneath your fingertips. Beyond it, fields stretch into distance, quiet, golden, endless. The life of a knight is filled with duty and discipline, yet within it lies something softer, a calm that rises from the patterns of routine, the repetition of ordinary grace. As you stand there, the wind moves gently through your hair, carrying with it the faint scent of rain. Somewhere far below, a blacksmith's hammer strikes once, twice, slow and deliberate, a single sound echoing through time. And then, stillness again. You descend from the castle walls, following the narrow road that winds gently toward the village below. The air shifts as you move, cooler at first, touched by the scent of damp earth and wildflowers that grow along the roadside. A soft breeze moves through the grass, bending the stems in waves, like the slow breathing of the land itself. The path is lined with wooden fences, patched with care, and beyond them, fields spread in quiet order. Barley and rye sway beneath the sun, their golden heads catching the light in calm ripples. In the distance, the faint shapes of farmers move slowly between rows, their tools glinting with each movement. You walk without hurry, your armour whispering softly with every step. Children pause in their play to watch you pass, their laughter softening to shy silence. One of them waves timidly, a small hand raised in greeting. You return the gesture, smiling gently beneath your helm. The road turns, leading toward a small bridge built of weathered stone. Water moves beneath it, a thin stream, glistening as it curls through the meadow. The sound of it is peaceful and unbroken, a rhythm older than the walls of any castle. You stop for a moment to watch the current drift around smooth stones, carrying fallen petals from the nearby trees. The village rises ahead, a cluster of thatched roofs nestled among fields and hedgerows. Smoke rises lazily from chimneys, blurring into the blue of the afternoon sky. Chickens wander freely near doorsteps, and somewhere nearby a dog barks once, a single, distant sound that fades almost immediately into calm. As you enter the village, the air grows warmer, filled with the mingling scents of baking bread, wood smoke and freshly cut hay. The narrow lanes are lined with cottages made of wattle and daub, their walls uneven but alive with character. Windows stand open, letting the sunlight fall across earthen floors. You move slowly, taking in every detail. The flutter of cloth on a washing line, the low hum of voices from the blacksmith's forge, the rhythmic creak of a cart rolling by. A woman carrying a basket pauses to bow her head respectfully, and you nod in return. There is no grand ceremony here, only quiet recognition, a shared understanding between those who work, protect, and endure. Near the edge of the green, a group of villagers gather around a small wooden table. They are repairing tools, their hands moving with slow precision. One man sharpens a scythe while another binds a wooden handle with twine. Their conversation is light and steady, drifting like the smoke from a nearby fire. A soft wind moves through the trees, and for a moment, all sound fades except the rustle of leaves and the call of a dove from the eaves of a barn. Time feels slower here, stretched thin, like silk drawn across the frame of memory. You walk toward the open fields, where the scent of earth grows stronger. Rows of grain bend under the weight of the harvest, and workers move in a gentle rhythm, their motions blending into the stillness of the landscape. You pause beside an old oak tree, its roots twisting deep into the soil. Beneath its shade, the air feels cool, touched by the quiet promise of rain. A farmer approaches, his clothes worn but clean, his face lined with years of sun and wind. He greets you with a nod, not of fear or reverence, but of simple respect. You exchange a few calm words about the harvest, about the weather, about the turning of the seasons. The conversation drifts easily, like the passing of a cloud. When he returns to his work, you remain beneath the tree, watching the land stretch into the horizon. The light shifts, softening from gold to a pale amber. Birds wheel slowly overhead, their wings flashing white against the deepening sky. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the air brush lightly across your skin. It carries the scent of rain and cut grass, of distant smoke and warm soil. The perfume of a world both humble and enduring. This is the heart of medieval life, not in battle or ceremony, but here, among fields and hands that labour with quiet grace. Every stone, every stalk, every breath feels ancient, woven into the rhythm of centuries. As the last of the light slides behind the trees, you begin your walk back toward the castle. The sky above glows faintly with the pink and lavender hues of evening. Lanterns flicker to life along the road, their small flames swaying gently in the wind. Your armour feels heavier now, but not with burden, rather with calm, like the weight of a story nearly finished. Each step carries you closer to rest. Each sound softens into the murmur of evening peace. And as the village fades behind you, you can still hear it. The soft laughter of children, the distant clang of a hammer, the rustle of the fields in the wind, all the quiet music of a world that endures, patient and eternal. The path back to the castle curves gently upward, winding through fields now touched by the fading light of evening. Each step feels quieter than the last. The sounds of the village have dimmed behind you. Only a few distant voices linger, fading softly into the calm hum of twilight. The day exhales, long and slow, as though the entire land has begun to drift toward rest. The sky above you stretches wide and painted. Streaks of rose, lavender, and pale gold blending into one another like watercolour on parchment. A faint mist gathers near the ground, curling low around the hedges and stone walls. You breathe deeply, feeling the coolness of the air slide down your throat, scented faintly with rain, wood smoke, and wild thyme crushed beneath your boots. As you near the castle gates, the great oak doors stand partly open. Two guards nod in silent greeting, their spears gleaming softly in the dim light. You step through the threshold, and the familiar sound of your armour echoes gently against the stone. A deep, metallic rhythm softened by distance. The torches along the inner walls have already been lit, their flames flickering like scattered stars, casting slow shadows that sway across the courtyard. You pause for a moment at the well in the centre of the yard. Its cool stone rim glistens faintly with dew, and when you look down, the water reflects the last light of the sky. A few stable hands move quietly nearby, tending to the horses, brushing their coats, whispering to them in low, soothing tones. The sound of hooves shifting softly on straw fills the air, calm and repetitive, like the rhythm of breathing. The castle feels different now, no longer a fortress of discipline and order, but a living heart preparing for sleep. You begin your evening patrol, your footsteps steady but unhurried, tracing the same familiar route along the inner walls. Each passage feels cooler, darker, and filled with the soft scent of stone. A cat darts across the courtyard and disappears into a shadowed corner, leaving only the faint rustle of hay in its wake. You climb the narrow staircase leading to the ramparts. The steps are worn smooth by centuries of boots, their edges rounded by time. At the top, the wind greets you, cool and patient, carrying the scent of pine from the nearby hills. You step onto the wall walk, the world stretching out before you in silence. Below, the village glows with small orange dots, lanterns lit one by one as night deepens. A faint plume of smoke curls from the blacksmith's forge, lingering like a ghost in the darkening air. The fields beyond lie still and endless, their edges blurred by mist. Far to the west, the last rim of the sun slips beneath the horizon, leaving a pale golden afterglow. You move slowly along the wall, your gaze tracing the familiar landscape. The forest in the distance, the winding road, the faint sparkle of a river beyond. The evening star appears above the treetops, shimmering faintly. For a long moment, you simply stand and watch it, feeling the hush of the world settle deeper around you. Your armour catches the last light, reflecting dimly like the surface of an old mirror. You rest your gloved hands against the cold stone of the wall. Beneath your fingers, the texture feels ancient, carved by rain, wind, and countless hands before yours. You think briefly of those who once stood in this same spot, knights, guards, wanderers, all gazing out across this same quiet view. The torches along the wall flicker and sway, casting brief halos of light that vanish as quickly as they appear. The night deepens. Bats wheel silently overhead, their wings cutting soft patterns through the air. Somewhere far below, a dog barks once, a single note that fades into the distance. You continue your patrol, but your pace has slowed now, every step measured, every sound drawn out and hushed. You pass the small chapel at the corner of the wall, its narrow windows glowing faintly with candlelight. The distant hum of prayer echoes softly within, low and melodic, blending perfectly with the wind. Leaning on your sword, you look once more across the valley. The world feels smaller now, wrapped in night, as though time itself has folded gently inward. You can see the reflection of the moon in the river below, a perfect circle of silver, rippling like breath on glass. You take a long, quiet breath and exhale. The armour feels lighter somehow, as though the weight of the day is slipping away with the light. Your body eases, your shoulders loosen beneath the metal plates, and a deep calm settles into your bones. It is in this stillness, this fragile, silver pause between day and night, that peace seems most complete. The castle is safe, the fields are quiet, the world hums with rest. You turn back toward the stairs, descending slowly into the courtyard once more. The air grows warmer as you move lower, filled with the faint glow of torches and the smell of firewood burning in distant hearths. The sound of voices, soft, tired, content, drifts through the hallways. Inside, the great hall awaits, its long tables cleared, its banners still. You remove your helm and set it gently upon a bench. Your hair falls loose, touched by the scent of smoke and cool night air. A single candle flickers beside you, its flame trembling but steady. Outside, the wind continues its slow song around the walls, and above the moon climbs higher, silent, watchful, and ancient. The day is done, the world is quiet, and as you stand there, armour gleaming faintly in the firelight. You feel the deep, steady pulse of peace that lies at the heart of every ending. The evening air settles softly upon the castle walls, brushing against the stone like a whisper from time itself. The warmth of the day fades into a silver stillness, and the last hues of sunset melt into the deep velvet of night. You stand by the open archway where the torchlight flickers against the courtyard's cobblestones, and for a moment you simply listen. The low crackle of fire, the distant rustle of hay in the stables, and the murmur of wind through the ramparts, all blend into a quiet symphony of rest. Your armour, once a weight upon your shoulders, now feels almost forgotten. You've set aside your helm, your gauntlets, your sword. The clinking of metal has been replaced by the hush of fabric as you move through the castle corridors in softer garb. A linen tunic brushes gently against your skin, its scent faintly touched with soap and smoke from the hearth. The stone beneath your bare feet is cool and smooth, holding the day's lingering chill. As you walk, you notice how the castle changes with the fading light. What had been bustling only hours before now lies in tranquil silence. The great hall, where servants once hurried with platters of roasted meat and bread, is now empty, save for the glowing embers of a dying fire. Shadows stretch across the long wooden tables, and the painted banners, bearing crests of lions and crosses, hang motionless in the calm night air. You pause before one of the tall, arched windows, gazing out upon the courtyard below. The moonlight spills gently across the flagstones, catching in the iron rings of the well and the glistening tips of dewdrops forming on the grass. You can see the faint movement of a stable boy bedding down the horses, his lantern swinging in a slow rhythm. Beyond him, the castle gate stands closed, framed by towers that seem to watch over the sleeping land like patient sentinels. There's something almost sacred about this hour in a medieval castle, the time when labour gives way to stillness, when even the clamour of chivalry yields to the hum of nature. Somewhere an owl calls softly from the trees, a breeze drifts through the arrow slits, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and wood smoke. You breathe it in deeply, feeling it calm your mind, anchoring you between the world of history and the world of dreams. You make your way toward the chapel, a small stone structure tucked into the castle's eastern wall. Its heavy wooden door creaks faintly as you push it open, revealing the gentle glow of candlelight within. The air inside is cool, fragrant with beeswax and the faintest trace of incense. You walk slowly down the aisle, each step echoing softly beneath the arched ceiling. The stained glass windows glimmer faintly, their colours muted in the moonlight, depicting scenes of saints and knights long gone. You take a seat upon one of the worn wooden benches. The silence here feels deeper, almost eternal. You can hear your own breathing, steady, rhythmic, slow. In this moment, you are not only a knight, but a witness to time itself. The same walls that shelter you tonight have held generations before. Lords, monks, servants, wanderers, all pausing in the same stillness, beneath the same quiet heavens. You bow your head for a moment, not in prayer exactly, but in reflection. You think of the battles that shaped your days, the oaths you swore, and the fleeting nature of honour and glory. The flickering candles seem to pulse in time with your thoughts, their flames leaning toward you like they, too, are listening. Outside, the wind sighs through the corridors again, a lullaby of stone and air. The castle seems to breathe along with it, ancient, alive, and endlessly calm. And as you sit in that candlelit silence, your mind begins to loosen its hold on the waking world. The present drifts away, replaced by the timeless hum of peace. Soon you'll rise to walk the ramparts and gaze upon the stars that once guided kings and knights across the centuries. But for now you rest here, in the heart of the castle, in the heart of history, safe, still, and gently fading into the quiet dream of medieval England. The air grows cooler as you leave the chapel, stepping once again into the open courtyard. Above, the night has deepened into a tapestry of dark velvet, embroidered with silver stars. A lantern flickers softly in your hand, its light forming a golden circle that follows you as you cross the courtyard toward the narrow stone staircase spiraling upward. Each step echoes faintly as you ascend the worn spiral. Carved centuries ago by masons whose names are long forgotten, the scent of stone and moss greets you, and a faint draught stirs your tunic as you climb higher. Finally, you emerge onto the ramparts, the castle's silent crown, where the whole of the medieval world stretches before you in the moonlight. The land unfolds in soft shades of blue and silver. Beyond the moat, you can see the outlines of thatched cottages dotting the dark hillsides, small curls of smoke still rising from their hearths. A river glimmers like a ribbon of glass, winding through meadows and woodland. Somewhere in the distance, the faint chime of a church bell drifts through the still air, marking the passage of another hour. You begin to walk slowly along the battlements. The stone beneath your feet feels cool and smooth, slightly damp with the night's dew. The torches along the walls burn low, their flames bending gently in the wind. You can hear the faint rustle of banners overhead, the soft crackle of the torchlight, and the distant murmur of leaves swaying far below. This is the hour of quiet watch, the time when only the guards remain awake, pacing slowly along the walls to keep vigil over the sleeping castle. You pass one now, his chainmail glinting dully in the torchlight. He nods respectfully, a silent acknowledgement shared between two keepers of the night. His breath forms a pale cloud in the air before him, and as he walks on, his footsteps fade into the rhythm of the wind. You pause at the highest point of the wall and rest your hand on the cold stone. From here, the view stretches endlessly, a kingdom half hidden in mist and moonlight. You can see the faint outlines of distant forests, the ghostly shimmer of the river, and the gentle slope of farmland stretching toward the horizon. The beauty of it is both humbling and eternal. This, you think, is what it means to live in a time when silence still belongs to the earth. Far below, you notice a flicker of movement near the village. A few peasants are returning late from their fields, their lanterns swinging softly as they walk the winding dirt paths home. Their shadows move like slow ghosts across the meadow. Perhaps they whisper stories of knights and kings as they go, of the very life you are now living, encased in history's gentle glow. You breathe deeply. The air tastes of smoke and dew and faraway rain. The world feels both vast and close, the stars pressing low above you as if the heavens themselves are listening. In this moment, you can almost feel time standing still. No centuries, no distance, only the endless quiet between the stones and the sky. A shooting star crosses the heavens, leaving a faint silver trail that fades into the night. You follow its path with your eyes, your thoughts soft and wandering. How many other knights centuries before stood in this same place, watching the same sky, wondering about the same light? You imagine them, shadows of armour gleaming faintly, faces turned upward, hearts filled with the same quiet awe. You walk on, slower now, tracing your hand along the rough wall as you move. The night seems to breathe with you, its rhythm steady and calm. Each sound, the whisper of wind, the rustle of cloth, the distant call of an owl, feels like part of a lullaby written by the earth itself. At the far end of the wall, a small wooden door leads into the tower. You pause before it, taking one last look at the starlit sky before stepping inside. The cool air of the night lingers on your skin, and as you descend the spiral stairs once more, you feel the gentle pull of drowsiness settling over you, like a cloak of peace laid across your shoulders. The door opens softly to the outside world once more, and you find yourself stepping beyond the stone walls of the castle, lantern in hand. The night air is cooler here, crisp and carrying the scent of damp earth and wood smoke. The sounds of the castle fade behind you, replaced by the soft symphony of nocturnal life. Somewhere nearby, a cricket sings. The gentle chorus of frogs rises from a stream in the distance. The world feels hushed, peaceful, as if the very earth is breathing in its sleep. You walk along a narrow dirt path that winds downward from the castle hill. Beneath your boots, the soil is soft, dampened by the evening dew. On either side, tall grass sways lazily, brushing against your legs. A pale fog clings low to the ground, curling like thin ribbons through the meadows. The moon, high and full, lights your way more clearly than any torch could. Its glow touches everything: the grass, the stones, even the quiet stream ahead, with a silver sheen that makes the world look dreamlike. The countryside is still, save for the occasional flutter of an owl taking flight. You pause for a moment to watch it, its wings silent, its shadow crossing the moonlit field like a fleeting memory. Then, with slow steps, you continue on, guided by the faint murmur of running water. Soon, you reach the riverbank, where the stream widens into a calm, glimmering ribbon winding through the valley. You crouch beside the water and watch as the moon's reflection ripples across its surface. The smell of wet stone and fresh grass fills the air. Somewhere nearby, you can hear the distant call of a night watchman in the village, a low, echoing voice carried by the wind. The sound feels ancient and familiar, like a piece of the night itself. As you sit by the river, the world feels vast and timeless. The stars shimmer above you, scattered like silver dust across the sky. You imagine that these same constellations once guided travelers, poets, and kings alike. Perhaps another knight, centuries before, once sat where you sit now, resting after a long day, his armour cooling in the night air, his sword laid beside him. A gentle breeze stirs the grass, and the moonlight flickers across the surface of your armour. You remove your gloves and dip your hands into the cold river water. It's refreshing, almost cleansing. The ripples drift outward, catching the moonlight like 1,000 moving diamonds. The moment feels sacred, quiet, and infinite. Beyond the river, you can see faint outlines of cottages in the distance. Their chimneys release thin trails of smoke, and you know that families inside are gathered around the hearth, sharing stories, mending clothes, preparing for sleep. You can almost hear their laughter fading into the night. The simplicity of their lives feels comforting, each small ritual a thread in the vast tapestry of the medieval world. You rise and continue walking along the riverbank. The path is soft and winding, bordered by wildflowers that have closed their petals for the night. Here and there, a firefly drifts past, its glow pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. You breathe in deeply, savoring the scent of the night air, sweet with grass, cool with mist, alive with the quiet rhythm of nature. As you walk, your mind drifts. The steady sound of your footsteps mingles with the flowing water, forming a soothing, hypnotic rhythm. The river seems to whisper ancient secrets of harvests long past, of lovers who once met beneath the same moon, of the eternal peace that lingers when the world finally sleeps. You reach a small wooden bridge, its planks creaking softly under your weight. You pause midway and lean against the rail, looking down at the water below. The reflection of the moon stares back at you, whole and bright, its light dancing gently across the surface. The night feels endless here, suspended between dream and memory, history and silence. Somewhere far off, a wolf howls, distant, melancholy, yet beautiful in its solitude. The sound echoes through the valley and fades into the hills. You close your eyes and listen. The world feels perfectly still now, caught in the fragile moment between wakefulness and sleep. You linger a while longer by the river, letting the calm seep into you like warmth spreading through the soul. Time seems to dissolve. The night deepens, the stars grow brighter, and the soft hum of life carries on, unbroken and eternal. And when at last you turn to walk back toward the castle, the moonlight follows you, gentle, constant, watching like an old friend. Each step feels lighter than the last. The armour that once felt heavy now seems like part of you, blending with the rhythm of the earth beneath your feet. The quiet world wraps around you, and you walk slowly, peacefully, through the sleeping countryside, toward rest, toward stillness, toward dreams. The night has deepened now. The castle, the fields, and the distant village have all grown silent, wrapped in the kind of stillness that only the darkest hours bring. You step away from the river and climb a small hill overlooking the valley. Each step feels slower now, softer, as if the earth itself has begun to lull you into stillness. The grass beneath your boots glistens faintly with dew, and a cool mist drifts low over the land, silver in the moonlight. When you reach the top of the hill, you pause to take in the view. Below, the medieval world lies quiet and timeless. The flicker of torches along the castle walls has dimmed to faint embers, their glow trembling like the last heartbeat of the day. Beyond them, the landscape stretches out endlessly, rolling meadows, sleeping forests, and the winding thread of the river catching bits of moonlight as it curves through the land. You lift your eyes upward to the heavens. The sky is vast, so impossibly wide that it seems to hold the weight of centuries. Stars glitter everywhere, countless and patient, each one burning quietly with a light that has travelled thousands of years just to reach this moment. The constellations shimmer faintly, Orion's belt, the North Star, and others the ancient sailors once used to find their way home. In this moment, beneath the sky, you realize that the same stars have watched over every night, every farmer, every dreamer since time began. You sit down upon a flat stone, resting your helmet beside you. The night breeze brushes your face, cool and comforting, carrying with it the faint scent of hay, smoke, and the damp sweetness of earth. The armour that once clattered and gleamed during the day now lies quietly against your body, its edges catching the faintest starlight. You breathe in slowly and deeply, the rhythm of your chest matching the quiet rise and fall of the sleeping world around you. You think about the long day behind you, the sound of the blacksmith's hammer, the weight of the sword at your side, the smell of the stables, the echo of laughter in the great hall. Every detail feels softened now, as though time itself is folding in around you. Even the memories of duty and armour, of order and chivalry, seem to dissolve into something more peaceful, more eternal. A faint rustle comes from the tall grass beside you, and you turn your head slightly to see a small hedgehog making its slow, steady way through the meadow. Its presence feels almost sacred, a reminder that even in a world of kings and knights, the smallest lives continue quietly in their own rhythms. You watch it for a moment, smiling faintly, before it disappears into the shadows once more. Far in the distance, a bell tolls softly. 1, 2, then 3 slow notes. It's the sound of midnight, calling across the valley like a whisper through time. The note lingers, echoes, and then fades, leaving behind a deeper silence than before. The stars seem brighter after it, the air more still. You feel the weight of history all around you, not as something heavy, but as something vast and endless, like the quiet sea of the night sky itself. You lie back on the grass, letting the cool blades cradle you. The stars above look close enough to touch. You trace invisible patterns with your eyes, imagining the knights of old doing the same after long campaigns, their armour beside them, their hearts filled with the same sense of wonder and fatigue. The world, for all its change, has always been this: stars, wind, and silence. The night hums softly with life unseen. Somewhere, water drips from a rock. An owl calls from a distant tree. Each sound feels slower, more deliberate, as though time itself has begun to drift. The earth seems to breathe beneath you, rising and falling in gentle rhythm. You let your eyelids grow heavy. The stars begin to blur softly, their light turning into slow waves that seem to pulse in time with your heartbeat. The air feels warm now, wrapping around you like a soft blanket. You can almost hear the heartbeat of the world, the steady thrum of a life far older than the walls of any castle. As you begin to drift, your thoughts blend with the sounds of the night. The chirp of the crickets, the faint rustle of leaves, the whisper of the wind over stone. They merge into a single, calming melody. The stars above shimmer one last time, and you feel yourself sinking deeper into stillness, deeper into rest. You are no longer simply a knight watching the night sky. You are part of it, part of the grass, the stars, the quiet song of the earth. The armour fades, the world softens, and in the silence of the medieval night, time stretches out like a dream that never ends. The night has deepened across the medieval countryside. The fires in the great hall have burned low, leaving behind a faint amber glow that dances quietly upon the stone walls. Outside, the air is cool and silvery, carrying with it the scent of dew settling on the grass and the far-off echo of an owl's call. You can almost hear the faint clink of metal, the sound of a knight's armour being set aside piece by piece as the long day draws to its gentle end. The castle stands in calm silence now. Once bustling with squires, servants, and the echo of horses' hooves, it has grown still, like a mountain breathing softly in its sleep. The grand courtyard, once filled with laughter and the rhythmic clang of training swords, now lies empty under the pale wash of moonlight. You can picture it clearly, the flagstones gleaming faintly, the banners swaying ever so slightly in the night wind. Somewhere high upon the ramparts a single torch flickers, a beacon against the quiet vastness of the stars. Within the keep, your armour rests upon its stand, The plates still hold the faint warmth of the day's sun, though they are now cool to the touch. The weight of steel, so constant and demanding, has lifted from your shoulders. What remains is the soft hum of fatigue, the kind that feels ancient and noble, earned through quiet endurance. Your tunic, woven of coarse linen, brushes gently against your skin as you breathe, and for the first time in many hours, your movements feel unburdened and slow. You sit beside the small hearth in your chamber. The flame crackles faintly, and shadows stretch like delicate ribbons across the stone floor. You pour a cup of watered wine, its deep color catching the dim light. The first sip is smooth and earthy, grounding you to this quiet moment in time. You think of the day, the long hours of patrol, the solemn prayers in the chapel, the watchful eyes of the castle's steward as you pass through the great hall. Each detail now feels distant, softened by the stillness of the night. The wind whispers through the arrow slits, brushing against the heavy drapes. Outside, the village at the foot of the hill lies cloaked in sleep. A faint glimmer of lamplight marks the home of the blacksmith, his forge now cold, his tools resting in silence. Beyond the village, the dark shape of the forest rises like a sea of shadows. Its treetops sway gently beneath the moon, their rustle a lullaby to the night creatures hidden below. Somewhere, a wolf calls once, then all is still again. As you listen, you begin to feel the rhythm of the medieval night, the heartbeat of a world long past, yet still alive in quiet memory. You realize that even in centuries gone, peace was a precious thing found not in grandeur, but in moments such as these, the soft flicker of firelight, the scent of bread cooling in the kitchens, the steady pulse of your own breathing echoing softly against stone walls. Your thoughts drift, as if floating upon a tide of time. You remember how the dawn began, the early clang of armour, the mist rising from the fields, the young squire who brought water for your morning ablutions, the stable boy who greeted you with sleepy eyes. How quickly those hours had passed, filled with duty and order, with the constant hum of life that every castle carried. But now, all of it feels like a story being gently tucked away, folded into the pages of the night. In the distance, the chapel bell tolls once, its sound soft and low. It marks the final watch of the night, a signal to the guards upon the walls that dawn is still far away. You imagine them pacing slowly along the battlements, their cloaks pulled tight, their eyes scanning the horizon not for danger, but out of quiet habit. The torchlight shimmers against their helmets, glinting like stars brought down to earth. Inside the great hall, the last of the servants extinguish the candles. The scent of beeswax lingers in the air, warm and faintly sweet. The rushes scattered across the floor crackle softly beneath their feet. The tapestries, once vibrant with the colours of hunts and battles, now appear subdued in the dimness, their figures fading into shadow. Even the hounds who once dozed by the fire have retreated to their corners, lost in dreams of open fields and distant horns. As the hours deepen, the castle becomes something almost sacred, a vessel of memory suspended in moonlight. The walls hold centuries of stories, kings and queens, feasts and sieges, triumphs and sorrows. Yet at this hour, all those echoes seem to merge into one vast and peaceful stillness. You can feel it, the quiet wisdom of time, the calm acceptance that everything, no matter how grand, must one day rest. You gaze out the narrow window. The moon hangs low, veiled by drifting clouds. Its light paints the landscape in shades of silver and grey. You can see the gentle slope of the valley, the river glistening faintly as it winds toward the unseen sea. Every sound, Every glimmer of light feels ancient, as if untouched for 1,000 years, and in that quiet, you realize something simple yet profound. This peace you feel, the serenity that wraps around you, is the same peace your ancestors once sought beneath these very skies. The rhythm of breath, the hush of night, the comfort of safety, all timeless, unchanging, eternal. You draw a slow breath, letting it fill you completely. Then exhale, releasing the remnants of the day. The fire has burned low now, reduced to glowing embers. They pulse softly, like the heartbeat of the castle itself. The faint scent of smoke curls upward, mingling with the cool night air. Your eyes grow heavy, thoughts blur into one another. Stone, firelight, wind, stars, all merging into a single thread of calm. The castle around you feels almost alive, breathing gently in rhythm with your own steady pulse. Outside, the moon continues its slow arc across the heavens, keeping silent watch over the land. And so the night, once armoured and vigilant, rests. The steel, the oaths, the weight of duty all fade into the soft hum of night. Only stillness remains, only peace. The echoes of the day linger faintly in your mind, but they are no longer heavy. They are distant, like the soft roll of waves upon a faraway shore. You let them drift, let them dissolve into the quiet. Now there is only the glow of the embers, the cool air upon your skin, the sound of your own calm, steady breath. The world has gone still, and in that stillness you are safe. The moon watches, the castle sleeps, and you too are gently carried into the calm embrace of night. The night continues to stretch across the horizon like a long sigh of the earth. The castle lies wrapped in its shroud of silence, and even the torches upon the walls have dimmed to a faint orange glow. In the night's chamber, time seems to have slowed, softened, almost ceased. The air feels thick with stillness, as if every sound is wrapped in wool. You can hear your own heartbeat, slow, steady, calm. It echoes faintly, mingling with the whisper of the wind beyond the stone. You lean back in the wooden chair by the hearth. The armour stand before you gleams softly, its polished surfaces catching the faint light of the dying fire. Each piece, breastplate, greaves, gauntlets, carries with it the story of countless days. The dents and scratches are not flaws but memories, etched upon steel like words in a secret diary. Every mark whispers of battles fought, of vows kept, of lives spared and lost beneath the wide sky. As you gaze at the armour, you remember the day you first wore it. The squire had fastened the leather straps with trembling hands. The weight had seemed almost unbearable then, iron pressing down on flesh, breath shallow beneath the helm. Yet with each passing season, that burden became familiar, even comforting. It was not merely protection, it was purpose. It was the shape of duty, moulded around your own form. The concept of honour, how simple it had seemed when you were young. To serve, to protect, to act with courage. But over the years, you came to understand that true honour was not found in swordplay or victory. It was quieter, hidden in moments like this, when the world fell silent and conscience became your only company. You recall the faces of those you've met along your journey, the blacksmith who forged your first blade, his hands stained with soot and care, the healer who spoke gently to every wounded man, even when hope had faded, the peasants who bowed as you rode by, their eyes filled with both trust and weariness. Each one became a part of the path that led you here. A life woven of small kindnesses, quiet promises, and silent endurance. The wind hums faintly through the cracks in the stone, almost like a voice. You imagine it carrying stories, Tales of other nights, other ages, other dreams. Perhaps somewhere across the sea, another soldier of the realm sits by his fire tonight, reflecting upon the same question. What does it mean to serve? You think of the code that guided your life, the chivalric vows whispered before the altar so many years ago. To defend the weak, to uphold truth, to be loyal, generous, and merciful. The words return to you now, not as commandments, but as echoes of a song half remembered, and you smile faintly, realizing that perfection was never the goal, only the striving, the quiet effort to be good in an imperfect world. Your gaze drifts toward the narrow window. Outside, the moonlight touches the fields like silver water. You can almost see the faint trails leading into the distant woods. The same paths you once rode as a younger man, when adventure burned in your heart like fire. You remember the feel of the reins in your hands, the rhythmic stride of your horse beneath you, the cool rush of air across your face, the sound of laughter echoing between friends, the promise of dawn on the horizon. Those memories are soft now, blurred like old parchment, yet they warm you still. A part of you wonders what remains of those days, of the companions you once rode beside, of the castles and villages that rose and fell like tides. But the thought brings no sadness, only a tender calm, for you have learned that everything in this world, every victory, every sorrow, becomes part of the same great stillness in the end. Like drops of rain merging into the ocean, nothing is truly lost. The fire gives a gentle pop, pulling you back to the present. A small spark leaps upward, then fades. You watch the glow of the embers, each one pulsing softly like the breath of a sleeping creature. The light plays upon your hands, and for a moment you imagine it is sunlight breaking through the clouds of morning, warm and forgiving. You rest your palm upon the table beside you, feeling the texture of the wood, aged, rough, familiar. So many nights you have sat here, sharpening blades, writing letters, mending worn gloves. Yet tonight there is nothing left to prepare, nothing to plan. Only peace remains. In the corridor beyond your door, footsteps pass, slow, measured, perhaps a guard making his final round. The sound fades quickly, swallowed by the silence. Somewhere below, a door closes softly. Then nothing, only the gentle murmur of the night. You take another breath, deeper this time. The air smells faintly of smoke, iron and lavender from the sachet hung near the window, a fragrance your mother once used. For a moment it carries you far away, back to childhood mornings when the sun poured through open shutters and the world was simple. You remember the feel of the earth beneath your bare feet, the laughter of distant voices calling from the fields. How strange that even now those fragments return, soft and intact, like petals preserved in time. The years between then and now blur together, yet they seem to lead here, to this quiet hour. You realize that all the battles, all the ceremonies, all the heavy silences, they have brought you not to glory, but to understanding. Honor was never in the armor, nor the sword, nor even the victory. It was always in the stillness that followed. The courage to be gentle, the strength to rest. The fire dims once more, and you feel a calm heaviness settling in your limbs. Your eyes trace the faint glow upon the walls, the slow rhythm of the shadows. It feels as though time itself has folded around you, holding you softly within its quiet arms. Outside, the moon begins to dip behind the hills, its light fading into a silvery haze. The stars above remain, ancient, patient, unchanging. You watch them through the window and think how many nights before you have looked upon the same constellations, whispering the same quiet prayers into the dark. You whisper one now, Not in words, but in feeling, a silent wish for peace, for all who came before, and for all who will come after. The night answers not with sound, but with serenity. Your breath deepens, your mind drifts. The armour gleams faintly in the corner, like a guardian at rest, and as your eyes close, you realize that honour, in its truest form, is not a burden you carry. It is the peace you find when you finally lay it down. The night has grown deeper now. Beyond the narrow window, the sky is an endless tapestry of stars, scattered like dust across velvet. The castle sleeps. The fires in the great hall are long since dimmed, and the courtyard lies silent under a veil of moonlight. The world feels suspended, untouched, as though time itself has chosen to rest. You sit still, wrapped in your cloak, the faint glow of the hearth brushing against the edges of your face. The warmth lingers like a memory, comforting yet distant. Your gaze drifts toward the armour again, that silent companion of so many years. And beyond it, your mind begins to wander. The stillness invites remembrance, gentle and unhurried. In that half-awake calm, the past returns, like the whisper of a familiar voice. You remember the sound of banners unfurling in the wind, the low murmur of prayers before dawn, the steady rhythm of hooves against earth. You can almost feel the cool metal of your sword's hilt in your hand, not with tension, but with quiet recognition. It feels like greeting an old friend. Once you believed battle was about bravery, about proving strength, but over time you discovered that courage lived in the smallest moments, not in the clash of steel, but in the stillness that followed. In the decision to lower your sword when mercy was possible, in the strength it took to walk away, to forgive, to endure. You recall a distant field, the scent of rain upon the soil, the cry of ravens in the grey sky. You remember kneeling beside a fallen comrade, his breath shallow, his eyes searching the heavens. You had placed a hand upon his shoulder and whispered that the light would find him. And in that moment you understood. War was not only the struggle of nations, but the quiet ache of the human heart longing for peace. The embers crackle softly. The warmth feels like the sun of another time, another season. You close your eyes and let the memories drift through you. Scenes of movement and stillness blending together like waves upon the shore. You see the long roads you once rode, the villages that welcomed you, the children who ran beside your horse, laughing. They had offered wildflowers, small tokens of gratitude. Those flowers, pressed once between the pages of your journal, became reminders that life always grows again, even after fire. You breathe deeply. The air tastes faintly of wood smoke and the sweet echo of lavender. The fragrance mingles with memory of quiet chapels where candles burned through the night, of monks singing prayers for souls both lost and living. Their voices were soft, their words simple, pax aeternam, eternal peace. Even now, you feel that prayer lingering somewhere in the walls, humming low and steady. Perhaps you think all knights sought peace in their own way, some through service, some through silence, some through surrender. The armour, the titles, the ceremonies, all were merely symbols, temporary shapes of something greater. What truly mattered were the moments unseen, the glance shared with a brother in arms before the charge, the kindness offered to a stranger, the decision to show mercy even when victory was near. You lift your gaze once more toward the stars. The constellations glow faintly through the open window, ancient and unchanging. You wonder how many eyes have looked upon them before. Kings and farmers, lovers and wanderers, each finding in those distant lights a reflection of their own stories. The stars remind you that even when the world feels vast and empty, there is always connection, always continuity. You are part of something far older and far gentler than war. The memories shift again. Now you are in a meadow long after the battles have ended. The air is golden with the scent of summer grass. A bird sings somewhere unseen. Your armour lies beside you, unused, while the earth beneath your hands feels alive, pulsing with warmth. You are older then, calm, quiet, at peace. The scars you carry no longer ache. They simply are. The sky above stretches wide and forgiving, and for the first time you feel weightless. You return to the present, to the flickering firelight, to the hush of the room. The night around you feels alive, not with noise, but with memory. The very stones of the castle seem to breathe. They have seen centuries of men like you, warriors, dreamers, guardians, all passing through, leaving behind fragments of their stories in the quiet hum of the walls. You can almost hear them now, faint as the breath of wind, the ghosts of old voices, not haunting but gentle, not sorrowful but at peace. They speak not of war or glory but of rest, of forgiveness, of the still beauty found after all struggle has ceased. They remind you that to live with honour is not to conquer, but to carry kindness through every ending. Their whispers fade softly, like leaves falling into still water, and in their silence you find a calm beyond words. Your body feels heavier now, your shoulders loose, your breath slow. The rhythm of your heart matches the rhythm of the room, a steady lull. Each exhale seems to draw you deeper into stillness. The world around you feels safe, distant, quiet. A thought passes gently through your mind. Perhaps peace is not something one finds after battle, but something one carries through it. You have carried yours like a lantern through dark corridors, its light flickering, but never extinguished. And now, as the night folds around you, that light rests upon your chest, glowing softly. Outside, the wind sighs across the stone towers. A distant owl calls, its voice low and ancient. The stars shift imperceptibly above, and the moon leans lower toward the horizon. Everything feels slow, timeless, eternal. You rest your hand upon the hilt of your sword, not as a warrior, but as an old friend bidding farewell. Rest now, you whisper inwardly, to the blade, to the armour, to yourself. The sound barely reaches the air. It doesn't need to. The night has already heard it. And as your eyes drift shut, you realize something profound. That even the fiercest knight must one day lay down his sword, not in defeat, but in peace. For the truest victories are silent ones, won in the quiet chambers of the heart. The fire settles into a soft glow, no longer burning, only breathing. The last of your thoughts begin to fade. You feel safe. You feel whole. You feel at rest. The world beyond continues to turn, but here, in this still, sacred moment, all is calm, all is gentle, all is peace. The castle is hushed now, as though the world itself has drawn a breath and chosen not to release it. Beyond the heavy walls, the fields stretch endlessly, silvered by moonlight, blanketed in mist. The torches along the ramparts have burned low, their orange light fading into faint embers, dancing like fireflies in the distance. Every stone, every window, every echo seems softened by the stillness of night. You step slowly through the corridor, your footsteps nearly soundless against the worn flagstones. The air carries a faint chill, yet it feels gentle, the kind that touches rather than bites. You can hear the distant sigh of the wind moving through narrow arrow slits, whispering softly as though it has stories to tell. Perhaps it carries the voices of the past, faint laughter from feasts long ended, the hushed prayers of those who once kept watch, or the sighs of lovers who met beneath moonlit halls. A soft, rhythmic sound draws you onward, the steady creak of wood, the deep hush of waves beyond the castle hill. The river flows quietly through the valley below, silver and endless, its waters reflecting the stars like scattered jewels. You find yourself standing at the window, gazing down at that peaceful ribbon of life winding through the dark countryside. The world looks weightless from here, a painting made of still air and soft light. Above, the heavens shimmer in full splendor. The constellations form shapes once believed to guide travelers and kings. The same stars that once watched over Roman legions and Viking ships now watch over you. They seem eternal, quiet witnesses to every age, every breath of humanity. You imagine all those who once looked up just as you do now. The farmers, the dreamers, the lovers, each of them finding comfort in the same glimmering sky. The thought brings a slow smile, a warmth that spreads from your chest outward. You breathe deeply, and the air feels ancient, filled with the scent of oak smoke and distant rain. Each breath seems to draw you closer to stillness. The castle's silence becomes a lullaby. The faint crackle of the last fire, the whisper of banners swaying softly in the draught. You think about how these halls have endured centuries of sound and silence. They have seen storms and dawns, battles and peace, joy and grief, and yet they remain, strong, serene, watching time pass without judgment. Perhaps that is what peace truly means. Not the absence of sound or sorrow, but the quiet endurance of all things. To exist without hurry, to rest without regret, you let your hand glide gently along the cool stone of the wall, feeling its faint roughness beneath your fingers. These walls have been touched by thousands before you, knights, servants, kings and wanderers, each leaving a trace, a whisper of their existence. And now, yours joins theirs, as soft and fleeting as a sigh. You make your way toward the courtyard. The great oak doors open with a slow groan, revealing the open air, vast, still, and luminous beneath the moon. The grass glistens with dew, catching the faint silver of the starlight. Somewhere in the distance, an owl hoots, its call echoing across the hills. The night smells of damp earth and wild herbs. A gentle breeze moves through your hair and cloak, cool yet comforting. You walk slowly through the courtyard, past the well, past the silent stables, until you reach the edge where the land meets the valley. From here, you can see everything. The rolling hills, the glimmering river, the faint outline of distant woods. The world looks infinite and peaceful. You tilt your head back, and the stars seem close enough to touch. They shimmer, patient and ancient, glowing like watchful eyes of the past. In that quiet moment, you feel as though the earth itself is breathing, slow, steady, and calm. The night has its rhythm, one that your heartbeat begins to match. You become aware of every subtle sound, the faint rustle of leaves, the faraway trickle of water, the hum of unseen insects. Nothing disturbs the peace. Even the smallest sounds seem designed to soothe. A memory stirs, of standing guard under a night just like this, long ago. You remember the weight of armour on your shoulders, the cold air against your skin, and the quiet duty that filled your heart. You remember glancing up at these same stars, wondering if the world would ever find rest. And now here you are. No sword, no shield, no war, only peace. Only the gentle hum of life continuing. You sit upon a low stone wall and let the stillness sink deeper into you. The moon moves slowly across the sky, its light softening the outlines of everything it touches. The air grows cooler, but your body feels warm, as though the earth itself holds you close. You can almost hear the heartbeat of the land beneath you, steady and deep. The moments stretch long and fluid, like ripples in still water. You realize that in this world, this old breathing world, time does not rush. It lingers, flowing softly like the river below. You imagine the farmers sleeping in their cottages, the shepherds resting beside their flocks, the monks murmuring prayers in candlelight. All are wrapped in the same blanket of night. All are at peace. You lower your gaze once more to the land, and in the dim silver light you see how everything seems connected. The castle, the hills, the river, the sky. It feels as though the world itself hums in unison. Each breath of wind a part of a greater rhythm. You find comfort in that, in knowing that no moment stands alone, no life passes without echo. Even your quiet breath becomes part of this vast, gentle symphony of being. Your eyelids grow heavier. The stars blur softly as though they too are drifting into dreams. The air grows warmer now, not in temperature, but in feeling, like a blanket drawn close. The night no longer feels vast or empty. It feels like home. You are safe here, wrapped in centuries of calm, beneath a sky that has seen everything and forgiven it all. The last thought that drifts through your mind is simple. That perhaps the sky itself remembers every soul who has ever looked up in wonder. And tonight, it remembers you. You breathe slowly, deeply. The castle hums faintly in the wind, and as your body relaxes, as your thoughts grow lighter and slower, the world seems to dim into pure peace, the kind that exists between one heartbeat and the next. The stars above shimmer softly. The moon tilts westward, and all that remains is quiet, soft, eternal quiet. The night deepens, and the world settles into a stillness that feels endless. The castle stands like a silhouette against the soft horizon, its towers reaching gently toward the fading stars. The moon lowers, casting one last veil of silver light across the valley. Each beam seems to linger on stone, on grass, on water, reluctant to leave. The world is asleep, and soon so are you. You remain seated upon the low wall, gazing out over the land that has carried 1,000 lives before yours. The breeze has quieted. Even the river below moves slower now, its voice hushed. You feel that the earth itself has drifted into a soft, rhythmic slumber. And with every breath you take, you fall a little deeper into that same calm. Once, these lands were alive with sound, the clang of metal, the laughter of children, the murmur of prayers at dawn. You can almost see them, faint echoes lingering in the air. A farmer leading his ox through morning mist, a young woman carrying a basket of bread, a boy chasing geese down the muddy road. The ordinary moments of lives long gone, and yet somehow they still live here, carried in memory, in stone, in wind. The thought comforts you, for even as time erases, it also remembers. Every sigh, every song, every heartbeat becomes part of this endless rhythm. You close your eyes and listen to the faint hum beneath the silence, to the invisible pulse of history that flows like a soft tide through every corner of the earth. It feels as though you are not merely watching the past, but becoming it, dissolving into it gently, without fear. The weight of your body softens, your breathing slows, the edges of thought begin to blur. You are both here and everywhere, the scribe in candlelight, the knight in armour, the dreamer beneath the stars. You are all of them and none, just a quiet soul resting in the long cradle of time. Somewhere, a church bell tolls. One slow, distant note that drifts through the air and fades into silence. It is not a sound of warning or sorrow. It is a farewell, a benediction for the day that has passed. You feel it vibrate gently in your chest, and with it comes a peace too deep for words. You rise once more, slowly, your body moving as if through water. The courtyard feels softer now, dreamlike, the stones faintly glowing beneath the last of the moonlight. You walk toward the chapel, its door open just enough to reveal the flicker of a single candle inside. Within, the air smells of beeswax and old wood. The flame trembles, reflecting on the carved figures of saints and angels that line the walls. You stand in the doorway, watching that small, unwavering light. It feels sacred, not in a way of worship, but of stillness, a reminder that even in darkness, something always glows quietly. You whisper a wordless thought, not a prayer, but a feeling of gratitude for the land that endures, for the lives that have been, for the quiet peace that fills this moment. Then, as though the flame has heard you, it flickers once more and steadies, calm and golden. When you step outside again, dawn is beginning to breathe across the sky. A faint blush of pale rose spreads above the hills, washing the world in the softest light. The stars retreat, one by one, leaving the heavens empty but bright. The first bird calls, a single note, pure and sweet, answered by another, and then another. The castle seems to sigh, as though it too has awakened gently from a long, deep dream. The stones glow faintly in the dawn, each one touched by centuries of rising suns. You walk along the quiet rampart, and for a moment you pause to take in the view. The valley stretches out like a painted memory, mist curling through the fields, the river glinting faintly as it winds toward the horizon. It is beautiful in a way that words cannot hold, soft, endless, forgiving. You realize that this land, this history, this moment asks nothing of you but to be, to breathe, to rest. You place a hand on the cold stone of the wall, feeling it warm beneath your touch. Rest now, you think, though you're not sure whether you speak to the land, to the castle, or to yourself. Rest, for all is well, and as you stand there, the sky brightens further, gold spreading through the pink, the soft sound of morning wind rising once more. You can almost hear faint voices carried upon it. Laughter from some forgotten market, the creak of a wagon wheel, the song of a baker greeting the sun. The world lives again, gently, just as it always has. You smile faintly. The past has folded itself around you, and within its embrace there is no fear, no hurry, no noise, only the steady rhythm of existence, old and eternal. The night, the scribe, the dreamer, they all rest now. Their stories, once alive with struggle and hope, have become whispers of peace in the dawn air. The light grows softer still, diffused through mist, until even the horizon begins to fade into gold. You let your eyes close, breathing in the scent of wet grass and earth. You feel the warmth of the coming day upon your skin. It feels like a promise that every ending is merely another quiet beginning. The last sound you hear is the rustle of the wind through the castle flags. A slow, rhythmic motion, like a heartbeat echoing through stone. You breathe in time with it, slow and deep. The weight of the world grows lighter, softer, distant. And in that moment, that space between night and morning, you find yourself at peace, truly, deeply, endlessly at peace. The castle, the dawn, the entire world fades into a soft blur of gold and white. The past rests, the future sleeps, and you, timeless traveler, drift weightlessly into dream. The journey is complete. The world of knights and castles slowly fades, like a lantern dimming in the dawn. The cobbled paths, the misty fields, the river winding through the valley, all dissolve into soft light. You are no longer walking through stone corridors or standing beneath a star-filled sky. You are floating now, drifting between memory and dream. Let yourself rest. Let the sound of your breath become the quiet rhythm of peace. Inhale gently, exhale slowly. The story has ended, but its calm remains. You still carry the faint scent of rain on armour, the weight of silence in a medieval hall, the warmth of the rising sun over the castle wall. These memories are not gone. They rest inside you now, turning softly, like pages closing. Every part of you can begin to let go. Your hands, your shoulders, your thoughts, all releasing one by one. No more battles to fight, no more duties to fulfill. The day is done. You are safe here. You are warm, and you are home. The world outside grows faint, distant, as if covered by a soft blanket of time. There is nothing left to do. No need to move, no need to think. Only the quiet comfort of rest. The knight's armour, once heavy and shining, has been laid aside. It no longer clinks or weighs down your shoulders. You feel lighter now, free, unburdened. The echoes of horses' hooves and the hum of the forge are gone, replaced by a deeper silence that feels infinite. Somewhere, far away, a bell tolls once, soft, slow, fading into eternity. Its sound lingers in the air like a gentle exhale. With it, you release the last remnants of wakefulness. Inhale, exhale, and feel yourself drift further into calm. You are not in a castle now, nor in a time of war or duty. You are in a space beyond time, where dreams and history merge into stillness. Imagine a gentle field, stretching endlessly beneath the night sky. The grass moves like waves in the quiet wind. Above, stars shimmer like candlelight scattered across velvet. There is no cold here, no weight, no fear, only peace, soft and unending. You lie back in the field, eyes half closed, the cool earth supporting you. The scent of wild herbs fills the air. Rosemary, thyme, lavender, the same herbs knights once carried for courage, now bringing you peace. You feel them wrap around you like a blessing from the past. Each breath draws you deeper, each heartbeat slows. You can almost hear the whisper of the past in the wind. Faint voices saying, "Rest now, traveler." Your journey is done, and you listen. You allow those words to echo gently through you. They feel like silk against the mind. Soft, smooth, effortless. Your body grows heavier now, as if the earth itself is holding you. But it is not the weight of burden. It is the weight of comfort, of belonging. The kind that anchors you softly in place, safe and still. The stars begin to blur, not fading, but blending together into one luminous sea of light. You feel yourself floating within it, suspended in the calm expanse of night, drifting, floating, weightless. The air around you grows warmer, softer, almost golden. You are surrounded by stillness so complete that it hums quietly, like a lullaby older than memory. This is where the story ends, and where your dream begins. The world of medieval halls and shining armour has folded itself away, tucked gently into the fabric of sleep. You can let go now, completely. The sound of your breath is the only rhythm that remains. Slow, gentle, unhurried. Each breath a tide that carries you farther from thought, deeper into peace. In the distance, you imagine a candle, its flame small and steady. It flickers once, then twice, then grows still again. It's the last light of the story, a quiet keeper of all you've seen and felt. When it fades, you'll drift fully into sleep. But before it does, you listen once more for the whispers of the past, now softer than ever. They speak of courage and gentleness, of kindness and rest. They tell you that even in the hardest times, peace always returns. You smile faintly, without opening your eyes. The stories of knights and dreamers have ended as they always do, not in battle, but in stillness. Not in fear, but in rest. You are that rest now. You are the calm between heartbeats, the quiet between centuries. Feel your breath. Inhale softly through the nose. Exhale gently through the mouth. Again and again. With every breath, you drift deeper into a place where time no longer reaches, where thoughts are distant clouds and you are the open sky. Sleep begins to weave around you like mist, cool and light. You surrender to it easily, naturally, peacefully. The story fades, but its peace remains, a warmth glowing quietly in your chest. Soon, even words will fade. Only silence will remain, soft, endless, perfect. You are home in the quiet. You are safe in the dream. You are calm, and all is well. The night's journey is done. The castle sleeps. The stars rest above the valley, and so do you. Inhale, exhale, drift. Let the world dissolve into stillness. Let the body fall heavy, the breath grow light. There is no need to return, not yet, only to rest, to float, to sleep. The candle flickers one last time, then goes out, leaving only the warmth of its glow. You are surrounded now by perfect peace, weightless, timeless, still. And as your mind drifts beyond words, beyond memory, a final whisper carries you into dream. The journey is complete. You are safe. You are at peace. Soft pause. 10 seconds. If this journey brought you calm, if the story helped you rest, stay with this feeling a little longer. And when you're ready, gently let go. May your dreams be quiet, your heart be still, and may you always find your way back to this peaceful place. Good night, traveller of history. Sleep well beneath the endless stars. And remember, you are safe. You are calm. You are home. Soft outro fade. Gentle wind, distant chime, and silence.